Okay, in this video I'm going to go through section 12, which is I can identify and calculate using upper and lower bounds. Okay, now this is question 11 in the booklet. It's on page 11 as well, 23. So it's this question here. Okay, one Saturday, Ben and Sarah each record the distance and time of their cycle rides. Okay, and just to highlight, those are the words that you should be thinking about there. In 2 hours, Ben cycles 44 kilometres correct to the nearest 2 kilometres, and in 3 hours Sarah cycles 40 kilometres correct to the nearest 2 kilometres. Calculate in kilometres per hour the greatest possible difference between Ben's average speed and Sarah's average speed. Okay, so there's a couple of sort of topics that this brings in, doesn't it? Hopefully you can all see average speed, so we need to be thinking about how we calculate speed. So remember, you've got your speed, distance, time triangle. If you need help remembering this, speed is always distance divided by time, so speed equals distance over time. Second part of this is these. You need to start looking out for those words, correct to the nearest. Straight away when they say that, you think about your upper and lower bounds. Notice here, correct to the nearest 2 kilometres, correct to the nearest 2 kilometres, so it's only the distance that has been rounded, not the time. The time is set at 2 hours and 3 hours. Okay, so what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to identify the upper and lower bounds for each one of these distances, Ben and for Sarah. Then have a little think about how we're going to calculate the greatest possible difference between the speeds. Okay, so for Ben's distance, 44 kilometres correct to the nearest 2 kilometres. Well, remember that whenever you do this, what you do is you half whatever it's been rounded to the nearest of, and then add it on and take it away, which means that if it's correct to the nearest 2 kilometres, the upper bound there is going to be 45 and the lower bound is going to be 44. For Sarah, the upper bound is going to be 41 and the lower bound is going to be 42. So I can now think about the upper and lower bound for the speed. So Ben's upper bound for this speed is going to be the greatest distance divided by his time, which is going to be 45 divided by 2, which is 22.5. The lower bound will be 44 divided by, probably 43, I should have 43 up there, 43 divided by 2, which is 21.5. I've got that wrong, what am I doing there? 41, that should be 39. Apologies, what am I doing now? Yeah, correct to the nearest 2 kilometres means that goes up 1, that goes below 1, which means you always have a different 2, because that's what you've rounded to. Okay, so upper bound for 44 was 45, lower bound for 44 was 43, upper bound for 40 was 41, lower bound for 40 was 39, sorry about that. So your upper bound for Ben's speed is his upper bound for his distance divided by the time, so 45 divided by 2. His lower bound for the speed, which is lower bound for the distance divided by the time, which is 21.5. So Sarah's upper bound will be 41 divided by 3. I'm going to do that on a calculator. The ones in your exam that you won't need to do on a calculator, that's going to give you 13.7. And the lower bound is going to be 39 divided by 3, which is 13. Okay. So I want the greatest possible difference between Ben's speed and Sarah's speed. So if I want to figure out what is the greatest possible difference between these numbers and these numbers, well, hopefully you can see there the biggest thing, to get the biggest difference, I want to start off with the biggest thing but take away the smallest thing. So I want to do 22.5 to the upper bound for Ben, take away the lower bound for Sarah. That will leave me with the most left over one. That's what will leave me with the biggest distance. So 22.5 take away 13, 12.5, it's going to give me 9.5, isn't it? Okay. In the exam, whenever you see these, they're normally worth quite a lot of marks, so 4 marks is quite stingy really for something like this. I would start off, once you see these kind of words, just for the time being, to make sure you pick up marks, and then the second that you see these words, just write these numbers down, and obviously get them right, don't make mistakes like I did. Upper bound and lower bound for each one of them, so 44, correct to the nearest 2 kilometres. The second you see that, half that number, add it on and take it away, to give you 45 and 43. Same with that one, half that number, add it on and take it away, so 41 and 39. You instantly start to pick up marks then, and then if you start to work with these numbers, in terms of whatever other kind of topic you're being asked about, whether it's speed, whether it's area, whether it's I don't know, money or something like that, you then start to pick up a lot more marks, but it's always those numbers that you have to do at the base start of. Okay.